अब आइए हम सीखते हैं कि कंक्लूजन कैसे लिखा जा सकता है और कंक्लूजन से क्या मुराद है। जनरली बहुत सारे पॉलिसी ब्रीफ्स में स्टूडेंट्स और पॉलिसी स्कॉलर्स अच्छे कंक्लूजन्स ड्रॉ नहीं कर सकते। आपको ये समझने की ज़रूरत है कि कंक्लूजन ड्रॉ करना एक आर्ट है एंड यू हैव टू लर्न इट. You have to learn how to interpret data, and research books and other guidelines on policy briefs, they talk about various skills which teach you how to learn to interpret data. The central point in drawing a conclusion is that you must understand what does it mean, what does your data and findings mean for the understanding of that problem, and for the recommendations you are making to solve that problem. So how to interpret data is really a skill, and say you experience or observe motorcycle accidents every day in your life. Motorcycle accidents are the serious cause of death and injuries in Pakistan, and divorces are rising in Pakistan. So how do you interpret this information? For example, if you have collected a set of data which tells you that motorcycle accidents constitute 80% of the total accidents, traffic accidents in Pakistan, how would you interpret your data? You can say that we should ban motorcycles because they are major causes of accidents. But you can also argue that motorcycle accidents happen because there is no principle of good traffic management, or motorcycle drivers are not trained, or they have no experience. So there are many ways to interpret the data. You should try to interpret data in such a way that it is closer to the reality. You should use your observation, your insight and experience in interpreting a data. And the other problem relates to divorces. If you experience or observe that divorces are rising in a particular society or a country, should you recommend that people should stop marrying? Or if motorcycle accidents are rising, should you say that people should be banned from driving motorcycles? So I think there are serious issues in learning how to interpret data. Any data is open to many kinds of interpretations, and you should continue learning and observing and using your insights to interpret data in such a way that it is closer to the reality. The more your interpretation is closer to reality or the actual facts, the more your interpretation will explain the problem at hand, and the better you will propose solutions to that particular problems. And you should aim for providing concrete conclusions for your policy brief. Okay, you should remember that World Health Organization said one of the main barriers between research and action is the inability to condense research results into conclusions which could facilitate policy formulations. A lot of policy research is conducted across the world, and these policy researches produce a lot of findings, but these findings cannot be condensed into good conclusions because many policy researchers think that findings in themselves are the results, and the findings themselves speak for themselves, and that is the problem with policy research, that scholars fail to produce good conclusions. And as a result, good policies cannot be produced, because until we have strong conclusions, strong interpretations of the data, it's very difficult to suggest good policy measures. You should also you should also know that the value added of a policy brief lies in the interpretation of data rather than the data itself. Data बजाते खुद interpretation नहीं है, and data or findings are not conclusions in themselves. They have to be interpreted, and until they are interpreted, they just provide no clues, because that is just an information. and information itself is not the answer to the problems you are going to study. And you should ask yourself again and again while interpreting the data, what does this whole information mean for understanding the problem and for suggesting alternative courses of action or your recommendations. So the meaning of the data does not come from the data itself. You need to understand theory and you need to understand using your observations and insights. You need to discuss the patterns of data with the experts and the other people to be able to interpret it. What can you do to interpret data in a better way? You should try to group all the important findings, conclusions, and advice in one clearly marked section so that busy decision makers can easily find and read them all. And by doing this way, bringing these patterns and themes together, you can interpret data in a better way, and condensing all this data into the policy brief, you can attract the attention of the policymakers to adopt the courses of action you are proposing.